Hey everybody, sure you saw my title, and guess what? For those of you who may not have seen it, it is Brian Laundrie. Now we know that dental records matched. He's gone. We don't know what happened to Gabby. We don't know anything now, and I don't know if we ever will, and that's really frustrating. Flip a desk. For reals. Yep, they figured it out already, you guys. Let me bring up what I just watched here because this is just crazy. I was working on something else for my content, and I just said to it's so weird how timing works sometimes. I'm like, oh, let me check and see if anything has happened. And literally, they were going live with this news right when I was checking them. It was crazy timing. But let me show you what's going on here. Here we go, guys. You ready for this?
Woman dead. From the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Denver office here a short time ago. And I'll read it here as follows. Again, you can find it on the FBI Denver account on Twitter. And it reads, on October 21st, 2021, a comparison of dental records confirmed that the human remains found at the T. Mabry Carlton Jr. Memorial Reserve and Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park are those of Brian Laundrie. The FBI is grateful for the tremendous investigative support from our partners, Northport Police Department, Sarasota Police Department, Jackson Police Department, Charlotte County Sheriff's Office, Lee County Sheriff's Office, Sarasota County Sheriff's Office, Teton County Sheriff's Office, Teton County Search and Rescue, the Florida Wildlife Commission, the National Park Service, and the U.S. Forest Service. The title of the document, Human Remains Found at Carlton Reserve, confirmed as those of Brian Laundrie, and then, of course, all the necessary information there at the header of this release. Brian Laundrie confirmed to be deceased. Let's all kind of break down where this all happened and how we got to this point. Chris and Roberta Laundrie, Brian's parents, go out to the Carlton Reserve yesterday, that being Wednesday, October 20th. According to Stephen Bertolino, the attorney, they go out and it is with law enforcement. There are cameras there present, images that, of course, have been making the rounds on social media. Chris and Roberta Laundrie go to an area that Brian is believed to have been in the past, and an area that is believed to have been underwater previously due to all of the precipitation that fell on the Carlton Reserve over the month of September. We showed you the aerials. It was a swampy wetland as far as rural Sarasota County, the wilderness there in rural Sarasota County at the Carlton Reserve. They go there yesterday. Chris Laundrie, Brian's father, discovers a silver dry bag, a dry bag that he grabs. There's video of him, images on social media of him holding this bag. It's brought to the attention of law enforcement. They focus on this area. Nearby is also a backpack is discovered. A notebook is discovered as well. In that area, human remains are found. As we found out yesterday from law enforcement sources, originally it was partial human remains. It was then confirmed to be skeletal remains later on today. And now we have the information here from the FBI that it was a comparison of dental records, not DNA, but dental records that confirm that the human remains that were found Wednesday morning are that of Brian Laundrie. Now, I tweeted out earlier that I was anticipating that the dental records would be used as supplemental evidence, that they would wait for DNA evidence to come back. This is, they are confident enough in the match of the dental records that these are the remains of Brian Laundrie. So many online observers have commented to me over the last several weeks, pointing out very, very particular details of Brian Laundrie's smile and his teeth. And if there were unique characteristics of the dental records that made it indistinguishable that this was Brian Laundrie, then that was enough for the FBI to announce this today unexpectedly. We, based on all information that we had obtained over the course of today, we were anticipating Friday being a potential first day where we could get this release as to whether or not the remains were that of Brian Laundrie. And perhaps the DNA would have come back on Friday or Saturday or Sunday or Monday of next week, sometime over the next, let's say, 4 to 5 days, however quickly they can do that DNA testing. But DNA testing was secondary in the estimations of the FBI, them releasing, and you see it here on your screen, that the comparison of dental records confirm that the human remains found at the T. Mabry Carlton Jr. Memorial Reserve, the Carlton Reserve, and Myakkahatchee Creek Environmental Park are those of Brian Laundrie. Let's bring this all back to where the focus needs to be, and the focus needs to be on seeking truth, seeking fact. We still don't know what happened to Gabby Petito. We know her cause of death, but
how frustrating is this, you guys? What do we do now? Can you guys think of any other instance, right? I know it hasn't really hit me yet. I'm kind of like in shock, honestly. Like, I really didn't think it would happen this fast. Can you guys think of any other instance where the presumed guilty party ends up dying before we find out if, like, they were actually guilty of a murder for someone else? Like, what happens now? You know, what happens now? What do we do now? Because what's next? Does this end here? Like, what happens now? Like, this isn't, you know, a normal situation by any means, right? First of all, 2 young people are just gone. They're just gone. Like, for what? For what? For what purpose? What? Like, exactly, Haiti Doyless. The only people that know what happened are gone, right? They really are. Like, what now? What do we do now? Now what I want to know, and someone else just said it too, are they going to release, like, everything that they have now? Because there's not going to be a trial, obviously, right? Unless the FBI knows something we don't about anybody else that may be a suspect. I can't see why they wouldn't release what they know. But why would they? I don't know. I have so many questions now. Southbug27 says, the only good thing is KJ will stop making money off Gabby's tragedy. I know. I know, Bossy. I saw that. Oh, in Orlando? Maybe I didn't. Orlando went missing? Huh. Nothing now. Nothing happens now. What does the FBI do with all the stuff they've collected so far? Do they share it with the public? Do they keep it under wraps? Like, what happens, right? Yeah, hopefully the protesters go home. I agree. I think it's time that they go home. It's been time. It was time like yesterday, right? You know, and I spoke about this earlier too. As much disdain as I have for the Laundrie family, and it's a lot, right? It's a lot. I can't imagine for the life of me yelling outside, and I saw this last night on WFLA when I signed off with you guys, right? Not long after. I saw in WFLA, I saw them tune into the Laundrie household, and I saw JB say, what are they yelling at the house? What could they be yelling at the house right now? And they tuned in, and they were like, your son's burning in hell. And then JB tuned out, and he was like, oh, we can't hear them. I was like, yo, I heard that. I heard what they said. And I thought to myself, like, as much as I dislike these people and how they held back on information and talking, right? I don't think I could ever stand in front of a parent's house, especially not knowing what they know, and yell that. That's really mean, right? And I know you guys, 8 Laundrie parents, but we don't know what they know. And right now, all they really have done is exercise their constitutional rights. Hey, I don't make the rules. I didn't write the Constitution, okay? If I did, it would have went a little different. There would have been shady palm tree laws in there, and they would have had to talk. But that's just not the way the world works, you know? It's frustrating, you guys. It really is. Unless the Petito family go... Now, I keep hearing talk of like a wrongful death suit, but I don't really know much about that. I'm not like a legal expert here, right? I'm so sad for the Petito family and the Schmitt family. Pamela Smith. I just said the same to my daughter. 2 lives wasted for no reason. It's such a waste. You know? And Spicy Pizza, I'm really sorry about your pet. That's horrible. Nobody, you know, losing a pet is like losing a family member, and I'm sorry. You must be hurting right now. That's awful. Sad day. You know what I'm mad about too? And I haven't even really spoke about this. The Northport Police Department. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. I can't even believe that Josh Taylor had the nerve, the gall, the audacity to show up yesterday in front of the FBI and be like, oh, Northport Police has been working really hard with FBI. You know, no, Josh Taylor, shut up. Because if you guys had watched him like you should be watching potential suspects and things like that, maybe, just maybe, he wouldn't have got out and he wouldn't be dead right now. And maybe, just maybe, the Petito and Schmitt family would have some answers. I'm angry at Northport Police Department, honestly. They let him get away, if you ask me. How do you guys feel about that? How do you guys feel about that? The Laundries basically let him escape, so that's mad. They could have helped him confess or whatever. You're right. That's why I hate them. That's why we all dislike them, right? I know. Like, I want to feel bad for them, and they lost a child too, but it's very hard. It's very hard to feel bad for them, knowing that they could have at least showed some consideration to the Petito family. I mean, yeah, there's constitutional rights, and then there's being a decent human being. Like, you know? Fish McDonish. I know. I love that channel, by the way. Good channel. They won't, I agree with that, They won't close the case until they're finished with their forensics. That's what I would have thought, right? Because I don't know. I'm being honest with you guys. Like, I'm not going to BS my way through this thing. Like, I've never seen this happen that I can think of where an open case, the potential murderer is dead too. Like, what happens now, you know? I wish that I knew that answer exactly. I'd imagine they still keep it open for the family's sake, right? They still need answers, right? Is it all about holding somebody accountable, or is it all about getting answers for the Petito Schmitt family? Like, what now, you know? It also makes sense why they didn't get a criminal attorney. They didn't know. Well, that's to be debated, but yeah. I can't believe that he actually did that. Like, I just didn't think he would. I was one of those people that thought he was really going to be caught alive, honestly. I'm not going to lie. I really thought he was going to be caught alive. I know a lot of you didn't, and that's cool too, you know. We all had different stuff about that, right? And listen, and I know how people feel about Northport. They're like, well, what were we supposed to do? Babysit him? Yeah. Did you guys see that other dude from Florida, that famous sheriff? What is his name? He's like a really popular sheriff in Florida, and he does press conferences with the photos, the actual photos. I just shared a thing in my community tab. Can't think of his name right now. Anyways, they asked him weeks ago, what would you have done if this happened in your area? He said, I would have kept an eye on Brian Laundrie. He basically outed them for just like BSing their way through why they didn't watch him, you know? Sue, you thought he'd be caught alive too? Sorry, I'm behind in the chat. I'm like, it just skipped way far ahead and I missed a lot. Grady Judd, yeah. Thank you. Someone might have said it. I don't know. That's the first part. Yeah. Grady Judd was like basically shit all over Northport. And I'm glad. That made me happy that he did, because I'm like, yay, somebody besides us is saying, hey, you guys screwed up, you know? And that means a lot, because JD Broad, I was going to dyslexia. Grady Judd is a well-respected, very well-respected sheriff in Florida. And he was like, should have watched him. So Josh Taylor, I don't want to hear another word from Josh Taylor or the Northport police, honestly. I really don't. Like, at least with the Laundries, a part of my brain, part of my human being brain can say, okay, maybe they were protecting their son and I've never been in this situation, whatever. But Northport police, what is your excuse? You know? Josh Taylor is the worst. He's just the worst. And it's funny because I've had a lot of subscribers from Florida say to me, I live in Florida and nobody likes Josh Taylor. Shocker. Strong says they need to keep evidence silent at this point. Who knows? The two dead in Moab. They kind of went back and forth in that, didn't they? They said that they were looking into it, and then they said, no, it's not related. Then they said, we're keeping an open mind. They kind of shuffled back and forth on the two women in Moab, you know, the married couple there. I'm curious what Dog has to say. Wow. I am very angry. Right now I'm mad at the Northport police. I mean, I've been mad at them. You know how I feel about Josh Taylor. I made that clear. Their whack-ass excuse of why they, you know, lost Brian after telling us they knew where he was. Remember that. Don't forget that part. They assured the public they knew where he was. The day before he went missing? Or was it the same day because the parents changed the day or whatever? Anyways. Kim S. says, I can confirm Florida dislikes Josh. Yeah, I was like, when he ever went up there yesterday, I'm like, the FBI was probably like, get out of here. Let us handle this. Let the professionals, okay? Go screw up another case, Josh. Am I frozen? Am I? Am I frozen, you guys? Oh, boy. The FBI and local officials have to do an insider investigation. Kira, I hope they do, right? I hope they do. Because I don't think it's normal to lie to the public like that. Thank you, guys. I'm not frozen. Okay. It's not normal, you know? And do you remember how defensive Josh Taylor got when JD interviewed him? He was like, we did not fail the Northport area. Yeah, you did, dude. Yeah, you did. Doesn't matter how many times you say you didn't, because you did. You know? It's like, what planet even is this anymore? I don't know. I didn't mean to put Bug Life up there. Sorry. It's messed up. What planet? What planet is it? I don't like it. I'm not happy. You know? His parents are stone cold to send him into the reservoir. He was angry in that interview, Diane. Diane, I saw you at the behavior panel earlier. Did you see me trying to ask Chase for a date? I love Chase from the behavior panel. Guys, I don't even know where we go from here. Let's see what's happening on WFLA. This isn't going to be a long stream. I'm like utterly disappointed, to be honest with you. But let's see what's happening over there.
His father? So many eyeballs going through the Carlton Reserve over the last several weeks. And you're telling me that the first pair of eyeballs to find something of relevance belonging to Brian Laundrie is that of his dad? It's hard to believe. And that's why, as I mentioned on Instagram, the comments were, must have been planted. Must have been planted because it's just such a strange coincidence, is it not? So with that coincidence, the conspiracy theories were just in overdrive. But the human remains were found near it, and those human remains, according to dental records in the comparison, do in fact belong to Brian Laundrie, bringing an end to the search for Brian Laundrie. He, at the age of 23, is dead. And now the aftermath of that portion of this story, as far as the search for Brian, what's next is now the search for the truth of what happened between these two. Will the parents be charged with anything, Melissa? They're not. They are cooperating. The parents, Chris Laundrie himself, found the first sign that led them to these human remains. And according to Stephen Bertolino, the attorney, they have cooperated at every stage of the investigation. Now, Josh Taylor with Northport Police, take this for what you will, said that there were some oddities there as far as the dynamic with law enforcement and the family. Oddities is what he called it. But those oddities, listen, that could be Josh Taylor just giving his 2 cents from investigators that have been trying to, communicate and work with the Laundries to find Brian. Or this is a family that has been in tremendous grief and had their world literally turned upside down on their street in Northport and are just trying to do the very best to navigate unprecedented amounts of attention. There's no evidence that they have committed a crime. If evidence comes about that they did know of something that happened to Gabby Petito and know that Brian Laundrie was involved in her murder and that they had direct knowledge of it, and if there is the chance that they were accomplices as far as his eluding of authorities, if that comes to light, if evidence is presented or has been gathered or is in the process of being gathered that points to that, you can bet your bottom dollar that there's going to be charges filed. But that's down the rabbit hole right now. Right now, we have two parents that are in their home in Northport and just found out that their 23-year-old child is dead. Social media has been so quick to vilify the Laundries because I go back to this time and time again. The root cause of that is, why didn't you take the phone calls? You had the presence of mind to go camping. You were there at the campsite, having fun, eating s'mores, hanging out by the campfire, ignoring calls from Gabby's family. That's the facts. Joe Petito, Nicole Schmitt tried to contact the family. The family didn't call back, didn't take their calls, didn't take their text messages, but they went camping. And that is why social media has been so quick to jump on the Laundries. But not answering a phone call, not responding to someone else's text isn't a crime. I will tell you, over the last few weeks, if not responding to a text message is a crime, I am charged with probably 300 first-degree counts of not getting back to people that I care about.
I really like that JB is actually showing some anger in this. I really do. I'm awake, judge and executioner. I'm just disappointed. I honestly am. I can't even hide it. Like, Jackalope Herdmaster. It just makes me laugh. I just imagine you as a herd master. I don't know, just gathering your herd like a master. This is not how it should have ended. The police and Brian's parents are to blame for this outcome, in my opinion. Better handling of this situation may have kept Brian alive. Yeah, not only kept Brian alive, it would have given us more answers potentially, right? And that's why I'm mad at the Northport Police Department for letting him slip away. And I wish that JB would say that. Maybe he has already, maybe not. I don't expect, him to go in on the Northport Police, but that's real. I am really disappointed. The fact that they looked at all their people in the eye and said, we know where he is, when they really didn't, is just shameful. They should be ashamed of themselves, not only for losing him, but for lying about it. And then acting like they did nothing wrong. Because when everybody was like, well, why did you tell us you knew where he was? They were like, well, we didn't really have to watch him and blah, blah, blah. No, you did. And Grady Judd is gonna. I hope he drags them again. I really do, because they look stupid. It's their fault. Like, literally, this dude should have been caught alive, and he's not. Now nobody gets answers, so thanks a lot. Anyways, Jackalope Herd Master of the herd. Thank you for your super chat.
Just because of how crazy my life has been over the last several weeks. I have to hold on, folks. Just responding to somebody who I've been talking about here on stream a lot with this story. Melissa Ann, we'll find out if there are charges that are going to be filed. We will find out. Christine Atkins, #AJB. I've seen another comment that canine and divers don't understand how they could have missed it, whether underwater. Now, okay, so let's talk about the canines, okay? So we had a phenomenal conversation today, and it was, again, interactive journalism, people responding in real time, presenting us with information about canines and how cadaver dogs operate in the 95% accuracy that they have, even underwater, when it comes to picking up on the scent, the odor of decomposition of human remains, and that they are unbelievably keen as far as their ability, their natural ability, and a natural ability that is then, of course, enabled by training with the canine handler to identify when human remains are present, whether it's above ground or underwater or underground.
Sorry, guys. By the way, before I forget, yesterday I was speaking and I thought that JB was muted. I thought that WFLA was muted and I was talking over them and I had no idea, and it must have sounded like chaos, and I'm sorry. It's not happening right now, right? Sorry, guys, about that yesterday, by the way. I didn't know. I really didn't. My bad. People in the comments were like, I can't understand you. I'm like, I'm sorry. I hope he wrote in the journal. So Stacy says he probably left a note explaining how none of this was his fault. He seems to have been rather narcissistic. Thank you, guys, because I was like, am I doing that again since yesterday? Because that was so annoying. I'm sorry. I didn't even know. He probably left a note explaining how none of it was his fault. And, Stacey, thank you for your super chat. And I kind of feel that way, too. I mean, I want to know what's in the notebook, but I'm not like, super excited to hear what you wrote about, because I don't think it's going to be anything worth wild. I really don't. My hopes for that notebook aren't very high. Everyone's like, oh, it's probably his drawings. But, those drawings that he shared on Instagram, those aren't really his. You guys know that, right? They're not his. I mean, some of them might be, but majority of those drawings are from a specific artist. Because I looked it up, because I saw a signature in the bottom corner of one of them, and I'm like, dude, this dude didn't even draw this stuff he's sharing. Everybody thinks he drew the stuff, right? I don't know, maybe some of it he did, but majority of it that I even seen was an artist that's like kind of known. So I don't know, all that weird like itchy scratchy stuff that he shared, that's not his drawing. He don't have talent. His only talent is hiding like a little biatch. All right, let's see what they're saying.
Why Brian Laundrie is no longer with us. Gators, moccasins, all different species of snake. Coyotes, panthers, but gators under the surface of the water. If you go into the Carlton Reserve for a hike, whether you're trying to elude authorities or you're just enjoying the wilderness here in Florida, if you go in there and it's several feet deep of water and you're wading through that water, you have no idea what is chomping at your ankles. So all of the water that had accumulated, it's just a fair question to ask at this stage. We don't know how Brian Laundrie died. We don't know if he took his own life. We don't know if something happened to him But could Mother Nature have been a participating factor? The treacherous conditions, the terrible treacherous conditions that are at the Carlton Reserve in September, could that have had something to do with it? Back to the question, divers were brought in if something was found. They were going to search underwater. Don't think of divers as actively participating in the search efforts. They were brought in more as if they were going to recover something under the surface of the water, and searching underwater with divers. That's an extremely difficult thing to do over let's say a grid search sort of format. So hopefully that answers your question. I'm getting a phone call here. I do not know who that is. Wanda, guess. #HeyJB. Yes, everyone is angry, but we have to remember that the Laundries lost a son. I talked about this on Instagram. And I talked about what I said was on Instagram earlier, and I said it on stream earlier too. No parent, even though they have been vilified. I know that Chris and Roberta Laundrie have received so much vitriol on social media. I get it. I understand the reasons why, and I'm not going to tell you that your feelings are invalid. I'm just going to say this. No parent deserves to find the remains of their child. No parent deserves to have that image ingrained in their head for the rest. Losing a child is traumatic enough, and I know from covering stories and speaking to parents of those who have lost their sons and daughters. It's a nightmare come to life, and it's something that doesn't go away. You cope, you find ways to move on, but it's always there. Losing a child is perhaps the most difficult thing that a parent can endure. And if there's anything that's more difficult than enduring the knowledge that your child is dead, it's seeing that or discovering yourself that your child is dead. So Brian Laundrie, his remains being found yesterday. We were talking just a little bit on stream earlier that Chris and Roberta Laundrie, no matter how you feel about them, they don't deserve that image ingrained in their mind for the rest of their life. They are very much a family in grieving right now. They are in tremendous pain. They haven't been charged with a crime. They are cooperating with law enforcement according to their attorney. There are all of these. Let's keep in mind that they are human beings too. I understand the resentment towards them. We've talked about it at great length here on stream. But if there was a moment for everybody just for an opportunity here for us to remind you that they are human beings too, it's this. It's today. They lost a child. Brian Laundrie, 23, had his whole life ahead of him. We don't know the truth of what happened, and he is dead. It is a tragedy. The story of Gabby Petito is a tragedy. What has now happened for Brian Laundrie's parents and what they are enduring right now, that is a tragedy for them. And no matter how you feel about them, that's just how it is. Jessica Osler, #AJB. Do we know if the FBI will follow up or Florida follow up with a news conference? So this is interesting. The means of communicating to the public. They put out a release. They did not call a press conference. And there's just responding to a text. The means of communicating this news out. Is, yes, yesterday they had a press conference. Today they had a press release issued. And perhaps because they didn't think that a press conference was warranted given the news that in this particular case, a press release and just announcing these details here, this news release, that was all that was necessary. But my 2 cents on it are this, Jessica, that this isn't the final press conference on this story. that there will be more press conferences in the future, and it just depends on when we have results as far as getting answers on what happened to Gabby Petito. Sophie Buchan, hashtag AJB. Will there be another conference to confirm his death or how he died? I would imagine that it's entirely possible, just talking about it. Will there be another press conference, particularly on Brian Laundrie's death? I don't know, but that's certainly possible. Also, the remains being found, and the circumstances just surrounding the remains themselves and the process, and how where does DNA factor into this now? I mean, the dental records confirming this. I thought I thought it would happen in reverse order. I think that other experts said the same, that it would be DNA first, and then dental records would confirm what the DNA told them. But we have dental records here confirming that it is, in fact, Brian Laundrie. I think the next press conference would be to announce results. Again, I've been talking on stream about the FBI doesn't announce developments or updates or little micro things that occur over the course of their investigation. They announce results. This is a result that they have announced. So the next time that they have results, I would imagine that a press conference is going to be called, whether that's FBI Denver, FBI Tampa. I mean, this is coming from FBI Denver, even though it's pertaining to, of course, Florida and a discovery in Florida, but it comes from FBI Denver. So I believe that FBI Denver would have a wow. Hold on a second. I gotta I understand that there's a lot of people that are. All right, you know what? Just putting my phone away. Putting the phone away. Let's get to next comment question. Cassandra will be on stream until 7 Eastern. 7 Eastern. Cassandra Joyce, hashtag AJB. Will the event be able to confirm how he died since all they found was bones? This is challenging for the forensics team now, because if the remains are skeletal, that is less evidence, less forensic evidence that they have to determine what the cause of death is for Brian Laundrie. You don't have as much to work with there when you're talking about skeletal remains. Now, there's different ways and different tactics and techniques that can be employed by the FBI and by the forensics team to try and determine what happened, and they will do that. But
so, guys, I mean, how long do you guys think he was gone for? Like, he had to have been gone probably not long after he left, right? Probably not too long. I'm surprised that they did dental records before DNA too. I think that's weird, but hey, I know my comments are fast. I know I should have slowed it down. I forgot. Maybe I'll still do it, but yeah. Actually, let me play JB while I slow the comments, because I forgot to do it this time. Hold on.
Another commenter who filed in a comment. There has been shock from experts that the cadaver dogs didn't pick up on the scent here, but I want to remind you of something, folks. A lot of the attention was paid to the west side, the Venice side of the Carlton Reserve. It's not as if this was the only section of the reserve. They were searching several different areas of the reserve. It wasn't all focused to one spot. You're talking about 24,000 acres. It's not the park down the street with your local playground. It's 24,000 square acres. So until you see it from either the air or even the ground, you don't know how big of an area that you're talking about here. The dogs are the superheroes that we know them to be, because they have solved so many and made the discoveries that have broken so many other cases for the FBI and for law enforcement across the country. They are one of the most important resources within a local police department or with a county sheriff's office. However, you're talking about an enormous area. I think that the observations that have been coming in from folks on social media, that why haven't the dogs picked up on the scent? Why did the dogs not not get this earlier or sooner, you don't know the size and scope of the area that we're talking about here. And yes, it wasn't that deep into the reserve, and yes, they should have hit on it, but it was a massive, it's a massive area. It's just absolutely massive. Vicky Quinlan, #AJB, I just came on. Do you think some more information that the FBI knows will come out now in time? The FBI announces results. And we have been talking about at great length here on stream that the opportunity in the future, and this goes for all cases, for in a active, ongoing federal investigation, especially one of this magnitude, that the most information comes to light in a courtroom legally when it has to be presented for prosecutors to state their case against the defense. That's when the floodgates open, so to speak, with documentation, with evidence that comes forward and is presented. And I can go down a list of a million cases in the past where we found out so much that we didn't know previously, but we found out during the trial portion of the story, when evidence was first presented and submitted for use within the court. And this story might never reach a courtroom. Now, charges would have to be filed, and there would have to be someone in the defense to of course, for it to reach court, for it to reach a courtroom. So we don't know what charges are forthcoming in this case, if any. But what happens now to all the information the FBI collected if this never reaches the courtroom? Does it stay sealed forever? You can put in public records requests, but they can take years to come back. They can be heavily redacted. But I would imagine that there is more of a likelihood that we will get more information in the days, weeks, months ahead. However, the FBI announces results. Let's keep that in mind. Steve Winslade, #AJB. Isn't it a bit quick to get dental match? I was thinking the same thing, Steve. We weren't expecting this. I was grabbing my keys, ready to go home. 100% serious. We were preparing for a lengthy day tomorrow because we knew that tomorrow was in all likelihood going to be the day where the initial DNA evidence could be coming back. That lab work that is expedited for a case of this high profile.
Oh, GB, I don't know. All right. Oh, shut up, GB. Anyways, so Alicia says, huge month-long manhunt and identification by dental records only. Really? Even that makes sense. Come on, guys. You mean makes no sense? I mean, dental records are pretty reliable, you know? I am no expert. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert, but I know they are pretty reliable, you know? And he must be so far deteriorated that, you know, it's going to be a long haul. If it's skeletal remains, they probably have to run, you know, bone marrow or something. I don't know. But Wendy, I talked about this earlier on my Instagram, actually, so I'm sorry for those of you who may have heard me already. You're probably going to be sick of me repeating myself. But I tried to last night when I had more time to process this, right? I was like, okay, let me try to make sense of this. Maybe, just maybe, you guys, maybe the parents said to themselves, well, let's see if the water has receded, or let's go check it. Maybe they knew the water had receded, right? So they said, we want to go back to the area we know that he frequents. This is, you know, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here, guys, so don't come for me, okay? Maybe they said that to themselves, and that's how they stumbled upon this. You know, it's still a fairy tale. I know it's very, very, very strange, no matter what way you slice it, for them to just happen to be there. Like, it's very weird, guys. It is. I know. They took divers in. Yeah, Seven. I was thinking that too. They did take divers in. Apparently, they didn't. That's the frustrating part, right? It was so close. So close, right? Trish says, I keep thinking that the parents dropped a bunch of old saved teeth. Pfft. Oh my God, now you're really blowing my mind. Oh God. I'm assuming they will probably have baby teeth inside of their possession. I don't think they would have, I don't know. My head hurts. My head hurts. There are so many possibilities, guys. But Occam's razor, right? I mean, I try to anyways. But, you know, like I was saying earlier too on Instagram, the fact that he was found so close just blows my mind. I was talking about real briefly, I'll share a story. Braylon Noble. If you know Braylon Noble in the chat, just tell me, okay? Braylon Noble, a little boy from Ohio about a year ago. Everybody's searching for him. They're meeting up every day at a gazebo in the middle of the projects to send out search parties. This went on for days. You know where they found the little boy? In the pool right behind them that they had already checked. I watched it unfold live. I was blown away. I'm like, he's right behind them the whole time. Like, what? It's crazy how often this happens, right? Where people go out and far away and over yonder, and then the person ends up being found literally that close, you know? That case boggles my mind. Braylon Noble still keeps me awake at night. It bothers me. It was right before I had a channel. I was obsessed with Braylon Noble. That case still messes with my head. That poor little boy, they still don't have answers for him, you know? He's the one that they say he fell out the window, but he didn't die of falling, and the window screen was pulled in instead of pushed out. It was so sketchy, right? So sketchy. I don't know. I think teeth are pretty reliable, right? Like, I think most of us can agree. You know, it was the quickest way. I'm sure they're still going to do other tests and stuff like that. I'm sure they are, but this is crazy. The fact he was that close, right? Right near the entrance. Now, JB did say yesterday it was the entrance where his car was, correct, guys? I believe that's what he said. So it was near there, you know? But I hope his parents talk now. Do you think his parents will say something now? I would hope so. Something. And where's Cassie Laundrie? Oh my God. Cassie Laundrie. Oh my God. Guys, we haven't even thought about that, right? She's obviously in a bad place with her family right now, considering everything that's gone on, right? I'm assuming that they probably weren't talking. If they are now, maybe they are. I would assume they would be now, considering Brian's dead and they know he is. I wonder if Cassie is with the parents, or if what she would have to say about this. I kind of feel bad for her. I feel more bad for her than I do parents. I'm struggling to feel bad for them, but oh man, I don't know, guys. Let's play a little bit more of this. You don't think that they will? Okay, let's see.
We've been in regular contact. And Joe Petito doesn't want anything like this to happen again if his family can have anything to do with participating in the solutions of the future. So Governor Ron DeSantis said today that Joe Petito feels really strongly that there's more that can be done to protect people like Gabby, who were victims of domestic violence. And I agree with him, Governor DeSantis, based on his conversation that he had yesterday, 3:15 Eastern Time, with Mr. Joe Petito. This is going to spur a conversation about domestic violence, about domestic abuse, and more than that, how we can improve the system that we have in this country to respond to situations of domestic violence. Is it?
And that's why the Northport police need to be looked into. If anything can come of this, can it please be next time something happens like this, you actually keep an eye on the subject? Can you do that next time, please? Can there be some kind of Gabby's Law? Something. Give us something here. I'm so annoyed with the Northport police right now. And I would imagine that Gabby's family is too. I know if I was the mother, I would be all up in there, like the biggest Karen you could imagine. Like, somebody tell me why, you know? Oh, because she probably, you know, the family probably couldn't freak out in the Northport police because you don't want to piss off the people that are, you know, trying to help you, even if they're doing a bad job, right? So they probably kept their mouth shut, like, all right, we'll wait till the end of this, then we'll bitch them out. And I hope that they do. Because Because if I were a parent, I would be pissed at them right now. Let me tell you. That man, Brian Laundrie, should have been caught alive. You know? Ugh. Flip a desk.
Have available to them as far as expertise, the more that they can help prevent future tragedies. Yes. I think that law enforcement officers would agree with that. So is it about bringing in more resources? Is it about improving training? Is it about updating policy and enacting law? All I know is that Joe Petito wants to be part of the solution in Florida and beyond, and being a Florida resident, him being in Vero Beach. All right, let's get to the final two hashtag HeyJB questions and comments. Kathleen Fairbairn, hashtag HeyJB. Do you think that we will hear the parents' side of the story tuning in from Australia? I was talking about some of the folks in Australia and really around the world that are, what time is it in Australia? Hold on, I'm just curious. Time in Sydney, Australia right now, it is 10 in the morning. Hello to Kathleen watching and everybody watching from around the globe. Do you think that we will hear the parents' side of the story? I was talking about this on Instagram, and I'll try to take that 5-minute explanation and try to break it down. It's only human nature for someone to tell their side of the story. I think, my 2 cents, this is just me answering this question. I think Chris and Roberta Laundrie want to tell their version of the story at some point. I don't know if it's going to be in 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, or 5 years, or if ever. But I think that Chris and Roberta Laundrie, just like Cassie wanted to tell her side of the story. She came out to her front lawn and did a 20-minute Q&A with demonstrators outside of her home because she wanted to tell her version of the story. I think that Chris and Roberta Laundrie, likely, unless that they have something extremely sinister to hide, they want to tell their version of events, and they want to. It's only natural for somebody to want to clear their name and get their lives back. They don't want this to define the remaining decades of their lives. I would imagine it's only natural for them to want to tell their version of the story. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I think that if it's Chris and Roberta Laundrie, I think that there is at least conversations being had about when is the most appropriate time for us to tell our version of the story, unless they have something very much to hide. That's my response to that question. And lastly, we'll end on this. Julie Brewer, hashtag HeyJB. I wonder if there is a suicide note in the notebook. The notebook is does it have the answers? Does it have the answers? We don't know if Brian Laundrie committed suicide. We don't know if he claimed his own life. We don't know. Maybe we'll find out. But you're not alone if you're wondering what is in that notebook, because that notebook might be the only avenue for us getting answers to, again, the top question. What happened to Gabby Petito? Who murdered her? Is the notebook our best shot? Is it our only shot? Folks, our streaming coverage resumes tomorrow, Friday, October 22nd. We'll be back here with you live on WFLA Now and break down all the developments that occur. Right when you think that developments are over for the day, we get a development like this one. We're on standby.
Well, guys, now what? Yeah, JB needs to go home and get a good night's sleep. JB has put in work. You can tell that he tries to hide it. He tries to hide his emotional investment, if you will. Because he talks to the Petito family. He's said it a million times. Like, he's got to be feeling this in his heart. I am, and I've never even spoken to them, the only hope that those people had was that Brian would be held accountable. Yes, Ozzy's here. Let me show you guys my bat Ozzy. Hold on. Let's lighten the mood a little bit here. Oh, I don't have all my lights on today, but where is he? Hold on. It's like weird. I don't know. Oh, Ozzy, where are you going? Why are you hiding? He's blending in with my black sweatshirt. This is my bat, Ozzy. You know, Ozzy's pissed right now. I don't blame you, Ozzy, okay? I'm such a weirdo, you guys. I'm mad. Does anybody else feel like Gabby was a part of their family too? 7, I do. I think we all kind of feel that, right? Like I said yesterday, we've all become so invested in this because we've never seen something like this. We've never been given a virtual map, you know? I know this hat is massive. I have to like keep my neck back so you can see my face. We've never been given a virtual like interactive case like this where we see police body cam, where there's a search, where there's a this is the wildest thing that I think social media has seen as far as you know, missing persons cases go. Like, this is very modern, right? We've never seen something like this. And that's why I get so frustrated when people say, you only care about Gabby because of this, that, she's a white girl, she's this, she's... Listen, I care because it made us feel like we were a part of it, because it was, every little detail was like right before our eyes, right? I mean, you got to think, a lot of the times with these missing people, like, out of sight, out of mind, like ignorance is bliss kind of thing. You know what I mean? And when it's right in front of you, every step of the way, you know, it's a little different. And I think a lot of people fail to see that, and it frustrates me, right? Every missing person matters. Every missing person matters, for sure. You know? I feel unfinished too. It's very unsettling. Very unsettling. Deborah says, no disrespect, but this was a YouTube murder. All the people involved were YouTubers. All the people involved? You think so? I think that YouTube was a gift in this situation, because let's face it, if it were not for Red, White, and Bethune, would we have found Gabby? If we didn't find Gabby, would Brian have done this to himself? I mean, like, all the what ifs would drive you nuts, right? But I think that in this particular circumstance, YouTube played an integral part of the good part this time. YouTube can be bad for investigations. I understand that. I don't particularly see the bad in this one, but everyone's entitled to their opinion. You know? I think it's for the same reason people were invested in the Watts case. You know, and we got to remember too, like, not only did we get a first bird's eye view of all this stuff, right? But the parents immediately shut down, got a lawyer. That was weird, right? Because since when do you not want to help? Right? The whole entire thing was intriguing, and it was before our very eyes, you know? And you want to call it a YouTube murder, you got to remember, Gabby was a YouTuber. Gabby was one of us. She was a content creator. She was on her way. She was good at what she did too. If you check her channel out, yo, that girl, listen. For people don't understand how much effort goes into editing. That girl took, when I tell you, she took meticulous, specific time in her editing, she did. Her editing tells me a lot about her. The time and effort she put in, it might not seem like a big deal to you guys because you maybe never sat in front of an editing screen and meticulously dealt with every detail over, you know, the course of however long it takes. It takes a long time, and she is successfully good at that. She would have been great, you know. There were definitely some YouTubers like Money Morris, Joseph Morris. Is that his Joseph? I always mess up his first name. Money Morris can go fly a kite or something. That dude needs to just get the fuck off YouTube, to be quite honest with you. I don't like him. I don't. I think he's a piece of shit. Excuse my language. I should have warned you first. I'm sorry. Deborah Young. Did I take Deborah Young's comment the wrong way? I'm sorry. I took it as like a YouTube murder. I took it kind of how I read it, maybe too literal. I'm sorry if I did take it the wrong way. I don't think I was rude, but I apologize if it came off that way. Sometimes I don't even mean to be a douche, and I am. But At least Jonathan Richards and his loudmouth jester will shut up and go home now. You know, if he doesn't go home, you guys, that's something's wrong with that dude. I'm telling you. He should have went home a long time ago. He really should have. This hat is too big. I can't wear it anymore. Sorry. Yeah, Red, White, and Bethune. I know. Thank God for them. Anyways, you guys, this is a lot. Okay, I wasn't. Hopefully I wasn't rude. I know Deborah didn't come off. Deborah didn't come across rude. Rudy McRoodster. I know. All right, guys. Yeah, even a 7-minute video can take you hours of sitting at a computer. And Gabby was good at it. She would have been good. And I'm not just saying that because she's gone now. I'm literally saying it because I mean it. I really do mean it. She would have been great. Such a waste of 2 lives. For what? For what? It is heartbreaking. I can't believe how fast all this happened from start to finish. Hopefully this isn't the finish. I don't want to call it the finish, but it kind of is, you know. Worldwide. I know. I haven't even thought of the impact it has on the other part of the world, right? Yeah, 7. You know then. I know quite a few of you in here have edited stuff. It's not easy, right? Who killed Brian? Brian killed Brian more than likely. We don't know that for sure. Wouldn't it be so shocking? Wouldn't it be so shocking if we found out like he was bit by a snake or an alligator got his leg or he starved to death? Not that we'd probably ever find out half those things, judging by what's left of him. But do you guys even care how Brian died? I'm curious. As much as I don't like the dude, I still want to know if he did it or if he succumbed to natural causes some way, somehow. You know? C-Dubs, good job on keeping us updated. I come to your channel for all my updates. Thank you. That really means a lot to me because this is like the first time I tried to stay on top of something religiously. So I thank you for that. Thank you. I know I'm like a la-ti-da sometimes, but I do the best I can. So thanks. Thank you for all your coverage, bringing us together. Thank you, Sue Elliott. And that's like part of the reason why I did this. Honest to God, it really is. Like the sense of community we kind of built from the first video I did kind of kept it more, you know, kept it easier to digest when you had a million other brains thinking like you did, or maybe not thinking like you did for that matter. But I'm glad that we all did this together. And sometimes being in a community, even if it's online, can be beneficial to everybody, right? Kimberly says, I'd like to know, but I'm guessing it's self-inflicted. Yeah, because where there's a will, there's a way, right? He could have gotten help if he really wanted it. Like if he did get in some freak accident, I mean, he might have been able to get help. He might have not, but I'm curious either way. I really am. Stacy says he should have taken some bottled water with him. Wouldn't that be some shit? Brian Laundrie died of dehydration because he wouldn't take the bottled water. I'm going to hell in a handbasket. Stacy, you coming with me? Okay. Thank you, Stacy. It was easier to handle as a group than alone. I agree. I know. This isn't over yet. There are more questions than answers right now. There is. I mean, when I say it's over, I mean in the sense that the answers that we were longing for from Brian, that we somehow convinced ourselves we were going to get, or at least I did, never might come, you know, in his handy-dandy notebook. But when are they going to tell us about the handy-dandy notebook and what was in it? You know, I am curious. I do think the notebook might make me incredibly mad, right? Maybe he wrote a note that said, you know, I did this because everybody was bullying me. If he says some dumb shit like that in his notebook, we're gonna have a problem. I don't care if you're deceased, okay? Because no innocent party And this is what I can't get down with. No innocent party would take off like that and hide. No matter what way you slice this, you guys. That's what I can't get down with. That's why I hold on to this aggravation in my heart. Y'all, I'm not drunk. Thank you for bringing us together to go through this. You never know the impact you could have on someone who's watching. Thanks, y'all. Nana's not drunk now. Thank you. Thanks, Nana. Nana, you get a little tipsy. I think it's cause for a drink or two maybe tonight. I won't judge you. Thank you for your super chat. Oh, T. Adams, thank you for your sticker. T. Adams, I had my bat here, but you might have missed that. I don't know if you were here or not, but thank you, T. Adams. Hope the medical world's going halfway decent out there for you. And you're safe, far away from the beer virus, please. Oh, Nana, I'll drink for you, Kiki says. Yeah, if you're just turning in, it's definitely him, Dental Records. I'm in shock too. All right, guys. Well, if the protesters have their way, he's burning, you know. I don't think yelling that at his parents is productive, but hey. All right. If there's any other kind of big deal news, we'll talk about it. We'll reconvene at a later date if there is, but sorry it ended this way, guys. Wish I had better news for you. I really do. But it is what it is. Sometimes it be like that. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Thanks for your support too, by the way, and your super chats and just for being here. Thank you.